What's up, Canada? This is Etienne from Signatures, and I'm just checking in on you. How are you? Do you know what day it is today? It is Thursday, May 28th. Nearing the end of the shortest, longest month ever, with some provinces gradually reopening. We're starting to see the light. So my question to you this morning, as it pertains to today's guests, what is the first place that you want to travel to once restrictions are lifted? Let me know in the comments. Hello, Crystal. Nice to see you. I want to give a huge shout out to Jonathan Leon of Lollipop Glass, a very entertaining character and rather talented glass artist who, if you missed it, performed a live demonstration for us on the show last Friday. It was super cool to be able to do that on the show for you guys, and we hope to do it again for you guys soon, in the near future, on a future episode of Just Checking In. Tofino, I gotta get out there. That's a good spot. Just a reminder, you can catch all previous episodes of Just Checking In on our YouTube channel by tapping the link in our bio. Hello to you, Ruth, and hello, Marilyn. Now, today's guests are a couple of sweethearts from my hometown. I'm very excited for you to get to know them a little better because they have an awesome love story that spans the continent. I can guarantee that they're going to make you smile today. The lovely duo of Kendall and Steve from Sadie and June are joining us today. Let's bring them in. Hello.
Hey.
Hey, guys.
Can you hear us okay?
Yeah, you're coming in great. I love the pennants in the background?
Yeah.
Super cool.
Thank you.
Are you guys at home in Ottawa?
Yeah.
Oops. Right on. So I heard you guys are getting a heat wave there right now. Are you guys staying cool?
Oh my God.
Yeah. Thankfully, we bought a little air conditioning unit last year. It's us, and we just picked up a wading pool. So in our back we have.
Oh yes, I saw that on the story. That was adorable.
We don't exactly have a backyard, but on our driveway we have a wading pool.
Amazing. You got to do what you got to do, I guess.
Yeah. We're in Alberta.
So, what's that?
What's the weather like in Alberta?
It's been a nice couple days, nice and sunny. There's no humidity out here, which I'm often reminded of. So the summers are a little more tolerable, and we've got a great weekend ahead. So I'm hoping to be outside as much as possible.
Nice.
Yeah. So how are you guys doing, all things considered, through all this pandemic craziness?
Feel lucky. To be healthy inside.
Working from home, or
Yeah.
able to somewhat work from home. You know, obviously no shows and stuff like that, but
we worked from home before this, so we're very fortunate it wasn't a crazy transition.
Yeah.
And yeah, at least we were kind of used to being home together at all times before this. So like nothing was too.
For sure. What sort of things are keeping you guys sane right now?
I don't know.
TV, HGTV. That's all we turn on the news in the morning, and then
can't take it anymore.
Immediately need a palate cleanser and go to HGTV, and then we watch that pretty much all day.
It's like background noise, you know. It's just always there, but it's always comforting. It's good.
Yeah. Some people listen to podcasts. Some people watch HGTV.
Yeah, I was never an HGTV person, and now I totally get it, and it's so lovely.
Right on. Hey, you guys have a very cool story. So can you? And you've probably told it a million times, but for those that don't know, how did you guys first meet, and how did you guys end up in Ottawa?
So we met in Gainesville, Florida, at a music festival, aptly named The Fest, and
Original.
It was something I had been going to for, I think it was my 6th year, and Kendall and her friends just happened to have we were next door neighbors for hotel rooms or whatever. They saw us coming in with like pizza, and so we just kind of chatted a little bit, and that's how we got to first meet. And then,
and I was living in Philadelphia at the time, but I'm from New Jersey originally, and Steve was born and raised in Ottawa,
That's right.
whatever. And yeah, we just connected there, and then a month later, we ran into each other in a show at a show in New York City, which was crazy.
Wow.
And they were just called the Canadians at that point, so we ran into the Canadians. And then a year later, we were at the same festival again and ran into each other the first night. Kind of knew we would both be there, though.
Okay.
And
so you guys were in touch at that point?
we were like
a couple
Facebook
messages.
Yeah,
couple
like
messages like, hey, are you going to that thing?
that was it. Hey, are you going to Fest?
Yeah.
And then I can't reach it. Can you grab that? And this is our first picture together from that festival.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah. And
That's
then we got married 4 months later. And I moved up to Ottawa, and that was 7 years ago. 7.5 years ago.
Okay. Very cool. So why did you decide to move here versus Steve going to Jersey?
Philly, yeah. I was ready to leave Philly. I was totally fine. It wasn't even really a conversation. He wanted to stay in Ottawa, and I wanted to try new things. So I was like, I'll go to Ottawa. And yeah.
And we knew we wanted to be together, so it was like, let's make this happen. Like, we knew we wanted to like live together, and we had to like,
yeah,
you know.
Well, and I was traveling. I was already planning on quitting my job anyway, and I traveled Europe for 3 months, like backpacking, and then kind of ended it moving to Ottawa. It was a year of life changes. It was really nice.
Are the winters as cold in Jersey or Philly as they are in Ottawa?
No. No.
We all know the answer to that.
Yeah. we get snow when it gets cold, but like really it doesn't get much colder than like 0 Celsius there. If it does, that's pretty crazy. But so like it's a huge difference. Yeah.
Cool. And Kendall, can you describe like the town that you grew up in, like whereabouts in New Jersey it is?
Directly in between Philadelphia and Atlantic City. It's a really small town, about 15,000 people, and we are the self-proclaimed blueberry capital of the world. Take that, Sudbury.
Oof, shots fired.
I'm kidding. It's the most densely populated Italian town in the whole country, in all of the U.S. It's very Italian. It's very. It was a nice place to grow up, but it's also a place you want to leave, and then you appreciate it after you leave. Now I love going home, but I was, everyone, I don't know, you kind of want to break out of it.
For sure. How often do you get to go back home?
Well, pre-coronavirus, probably like 4 times a year. We try to get back pretty often. My whole family is in this one town, and they all live like within a mile of each other, so it's really nice. But now, like last time I was home was February. For the National Stationery Show. New York City is only a couple hours from where I'm from.
Cool.
So I'm hoping to get back for Christmas. I'm crossing
my fingers for you. Now, when you moved to Canada, did you find that the stereotypes of Canadians were accurate?
Oh, that's a good question. Like the accents were there. Yeah. There was like.
It's even worse out in Alberta, I'm telling you.
I can't imagine. I can't wait to get out there. I really love it. And everyone's really sweet, and everyone was so welcoming when I first came here, because I knew no one except a few of Steve's friends and Steve. Mm-hmm. His family really took me in and made the beginning really, really nice. And so I guess the niceness of Canadians, that stereotype, which is like the best stereotype to have. Yeah, that was all true. So that was nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then on the flip side, like, did you find, what did you find Canadians had a misconception of the most about America?
Oh, goodness. Well, being from New Jersey, we get stereotyped a lot because of the Jersey Shore.
Yes.
So, which, I mean, most people say it's like not true at all, but I mean, they are mostly Italian. Yeah. Which is lovely, and we do love the shore, which is lovely. But most of those people weren't from New Jersey, actually. So interesting. So got a lot of that, but we do grow up tanning or like, when
Going to
we
the
were
beach.
young, being a 33-year-old, no, like tanning salons in New Jersey. That's all there. Italian. So what is it? GTL?
Yeah, Gym
Maybe.
Tan Laundry.
I
Yeah,
don't know. The tanning and the no. Okay, just the tanning part of GTL is real.
amazing. Confirmed. Thank you for that.
Or
And Steve, I'd like to remind you every time I see you that we are from the same hometown,
Yeah.
Orleans. Shout out to Orleans. And we also went to the same high school, I believe.
Mats. Yeah.
Same Mats all day. Go Tigers. My question to you is which restaurant did you enjoy eating out at the most in that plaza across the street from St. Mats?
Okay, so Pizza was probably like the one I went to the most.
Yeah.
I absolutely hated it, but I went to Subway a lot, and I hate Subway so much.
Yeah.
Sorry, I dislike Subway. I shouldn't. Hate's a strong word. But other than that, that's pretty much it. There was like, I can't. That's like a few times I just went to like the IGA or whatever and got like, candy instead of getting lunch. Just go to the grocery store and pick up a bag of potato chips for lunch.
For sure. My friends and I got banned from that metro.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh, it was
we were messing around with the secret shopper a little bit too much, and they didn't appreciate that.
I really did. I dated myself right there saying IGA because I get thrown out.
What year did you graduate?
90 something.
No, you didn't. No. 90 something. I graduated in 2005. So you
2004.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're a couple years older than me. How long did you stay in Orleans?
So I was in Orleans. I lived like right down by the Toppers Pizza and like the
Toppers.
Yeah, like right there at like St. Joseph and Jeanne d'Arc in that little complex there for a couple years. So like maybe until I was like 2021, and then I slowly started moving over. So I moved to like Gloucester, to like Beacon Hill area, and then a couple years after that, I moved downtown.
Amazing. Did you spend any time at the Orleans skate park?
Oh yeah. Oh god, yeah. I like nearly broke my tailbone like several times. Falling off.
Ditto. That's amazing.
Or my rollerblades, which I thought was like, oh yeah, since the skateboard works, I guess my rollerblades will work, and I like winded myself immediately. So just immediate winding, like fall on my back.
That's awesome and quite brave of you, because I remember when I was there, they didn't take too kindly to the rollerbladers.
Oh no, you had to go to like it had to be empty. You couldn't go in like at any time when there's actual skateboarders there.
Too funny. Yeah. Are your parents still there in Orleans?
No, they're actually they're in Metcalf now, so a little further out. Yeah,
fair enough. Let's talk about your work, because there are a couple pieces that I've purchased from you guys in the past, and they are awesome. One was for my dad. It's a map of the UK and Canada, because he's from Scotland, so we have a heart going from the UK to Canada. And the other one is in my girlfriend's house, with the heart going from Alberta to Ontario. So I'm just going to pull up a few photos of your work, and if you guys could describe it for the audience, that would be awesome.
Sweet.
Nice. So we hand embroider through vintage map prints. So the home there is hand embroidered through the map. It's a really nice gift for if you left Canada and you still call it home, or just, there's so much pride in being from Canada, and I see why now. So a lot of people feel connected to that because, like, whether you leave or stay, I think.
Yeah. And Steve, did you know how to embroider before you met Kendall?
I did not.
How's that learning curve?
Honestly, it wasn't that bad, just because Kendall had been doing it for a year or two before I started stitching. Like I was helping out a little behind the scenes, before I started stitching, but I had seen her do it for so long that really I was able to pick it up, not easily, but
really
relatively quickly.
He was a pro. I was impressed and a little jealous that it took me and him so quick.
You like invented it.
Well, whatever.
Yeah, where did the idea come from at the beginning?
God, so I really loved the art of, I loved embroidery, and I loved the art of, I had seen some art embroidering through photographs, and I loved the look of that. But I personally love traveling so much, and for our first anniversary, I wanted to make him something with maps because I'm from New Jersey, he's from Ottawa. We met in Florida. I would take the train to Montreal, Philadelphia
Oh,
is
yeah.
where we aged. So I wanted to incorporate all those places. So I kind of just came up with the idea to combine the two things, and people liked it. I had signed up for a craft show. I was amazed. I had signed up for a craft show, and I was making kind of other things at the time, and just put a little box of heart maps that I had just started making outside of making them for Steve, and people gravitated towards them immediately. So I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I'll just keep making these.
Stop all this other stuff and
Yeah.
focus on the maps.
Awesome. Very cool. And we just have a close up of the detail there on the photo. Really awesome stuff. Are you guys allowed to tell me where you get your maps, or is that top secret?
Uh, so we source them from a lot of different places. So public libraries, cartographers, kind of all over the place. People do give us maps, which is the nicest thing in the world. We just found a whole suitcase full of vintage maps that we've been gifted. So we're trying to think of something really cool to do with those. But we make sure we stitch through a really high quality print so it doesn't fade and the stitching holds up. And then we like to frame them without glass so it really pops.
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah.
I saw on your website that you have like over 1,000 different maps now.
Yeah.
Amazing. But my question is, have you guys had any like super obscure, bizarre requests? Like, what's the most bizarre one that you've had?
We're always asked for new places.
Oh yeah.
I can't even think of like what the most bizarre one would be, because like there's so many like people want specific, like right down to where they met kind of thing. So there's like the super specific, but there's also like the places I at least hadn't even heard of. Like Kendall's a little better up with the map.
Well, now, but I didn't know Canadian geography at all when I
Right.
So I feel like I'm pretty good at it now. Or
quick,
at least...
name the 10 provinces. No, I'm just kidding.
I always go west to east, and that helps me so much.
Yeah.
Like I'm like a pro at it now because we didn't really learn about Canada in the U.S.
Yeah, fair. Vice versa.
Yeah. So it's nice learning everything through maps. There's such a beauty in vintage maps. They're a work of art by itself without our stitching. And then I think it's nice to make something old new again, and then people put that in their house.
Totally. I love it. What was going through your minds when shows started getting canceled in the spring?
Oh, that's a good question. It was pretty wild. I mean, we had been following it for a long time because we went to the States in February. Well, we were in Toronto when the very first case in Canada, and it was in Toronto, was announced. And then we immediately went straight from there it was Signatures by Hand show. We went straight from there to New York City for the stationery show. So we were very conscious of immediately like washing our hands all the time, being really careful just because you had no idea where it was going to go next.
Yeah.
And then
just like having all of Kendall's family in New Jersey, and it was like really severely hit. It was like the second hardest hit state. So like we've always been, relatively trying to stay on top of it because we want to know what's going on where our family.
So I wasn't too surprised when things started getting canceled. It was really upsetting because that's most of our income for the year, but I wasn't surprised. And it thank goodness everyone made the call early enough. Like all the shows like One of a Kind and Signatures. Because things just spiraled pretty quickly. So, we've just been kind of trucking along here. Yeah. But yeah.
Are you still getting the online support?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we kind of weren't too out there for the first couple months. We laid pretty low. We were just filling orders people placed online. Like everyone, it affected me a lot. Like it's really upsetting to be up here and watch everything happen down in New Jersey from afar, especially like my mother works at a grocery store, my father's a volunteer firefighter.
So is your brother.
Oh, and my brother is as well, yeah. So it I like kind of I didn't know how to handle it except calling them and talking to them all the time. So now it's nice to like get back into the swing of things and figuring out how to balance, still being a little scared, but also like trying to move forward while we stay at home at all times.
Yeah.
Well, big shout out to your family, the first responders out there. That's very cool.
Thanks.
In terms of shows, like, have you always done shows in Ottawa?
Yeah.
Like starting out, yeah. And how would you describe that community of makers? Because we often hear about how great it is out here in Alberta, but show Ottawa some love. I know that there's some really cool makers out there, and how have they been supportive to you guys over the years?
If it wasn't for Ottawa, I don't know if I would have even started this. Like craft shows were kind of coming kind of coming up right when I started, and I wanted to be a part of the community pretty badly because it just seems so cool to me. And there's a lot of us that started around the same time. About I've lost, I think 5 years ago
Yeah.
now. Yeah, about 5 years ago. And the community, like the customers, are immediately not just with us, but with other Ottawa makers. They like line up at the craft shows. They're so supportive. And what would you piggyback on that?
I'd just say like I think Ottawa's just a really creative city in general, and when Kendall was up here, like she kind of got inspired by other like creative people, probably like like she saw people playing music and people
Yes.
doing whatever, and she figured out what she was great at, like just kind of
Yeah,
yeah.
I didn't embroider before I moved here. I didn't
Oh,
yeah, I kind of felt the creativity of the city, just like Steve said. And Steve's in a ton of bands, and most of his friends are in bands. And I really wanted to carve out my own part of Ottawa, and I was so lucky that so many other people were doing that at the same time. And yeah, it became like this beautiful thing. And Ottawa is just amazing, and
yes,
that there's so many cool makers here.
yes.
Uh, it would be intimidating if it wasn't just so inspiring.
Very cool. So, in case y'all forgot out there, Ottawa is not just a boring government town. I think I'll be screaming that from the top of my lungs until the day I die.
Other side.
I mean, I moved from the like Philadelphia, which is a really cool city, to Ottawa, and I didn't know what to expect, and I was really blown away with how much I love it here.
Yes. Shout out to the nation's capital.
Yeah.
I want to talk about your beautiful booth. Because you guys have gone from like tabletops, like bare bones, to now these like beautiful, bright, like hard walls that are like red and they draw you in. Like, so how has that booth design evolved over the years, and what are the things you love about designing a booth, and what are the challenges of it?
Oof, you're really good at this. I love every question you've thrown at us. Such good questions. Um, so building our booth was really tough, but really fun. It's amazing what having your own little shop in a market can really do for the whole buying experience. And we had been renting walls through One of a Kind, which gets really expensive. So we asked our buddy Corey, who's amazing at building stuff. We asked him to build our walls for us, and then we kind of just took it from there.
Yeah, and throughout, even from getting the walls, it became like progressively better. So like at first it was just like white walls, and we tried to like do certain things with like shelving, and then you figure it out that you got to have your little, what would you call it, like a standalone shelf, and we got the pink walls, and like just certain things that you like, every little aspect you don't think is going to matter that much. It's like, oh, every detail is like pretty important.
Yeah, it's funny because some makers I talk to don't think that there's a psychology to like how shoppers operate in a booth, but I just remember going into your booth and like it was so easy to sort through the maps because they were so well organized, and I found what I wanted like pretty much instantly. So great
Thank
job,
you.
you
Like,
guys.
the whole inspiration was a record shop. So
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I wanted to make it feel like you were flipping through records, and then alphabetizing them just made it so easy, and so people can
And
have fun finding their own place. And
yeah,
when they find it, they're like, "Oh my God, you have
someone
our place!"
shout or
Yeah,
whatever. Yeah, it's fun. And plus,
Um,
it's like easy to like. What would you say? We have so many products that you need something easy, like at a record store. You know, when there's thousands of records, there's thousands of maps that we have, right? So you need something that is easy to get through and easy to like digest. When you see it, you're not overwhelmed
yeah.
and stuff.
for sure. Kudos to you guys. Um, at the big shows, like, what is your guilty pleasure for food?
Oh, that's so Toronto. It's Hogtown vegan.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh, wait, is that?
do you
Wait,
mean
wait. Do you mean
at the
at the
shows?
show?
At the shows, like food vendors.
We're like, okay, and what all anyone can think of right now is food because we're all in quarantine, just like obsessing over food. So
Yeah.
I was an idiot with that Hogtown vegan.
Uh, but I would say like the hummus, the
Oh
Mama's
yes.
hummus. We always get.
Mama's hummus.
And then what else do we always get? The popcorn. I can't remember the
Yeah.
name right
Oh
now.
my God, I'm blanking on every name.
Have you guys had the candy apples from Bruce County?
I don't think I have.
I don't think. Oh yes, we did at the
Oh.
at the beaches show last
Yeah,
year.
do yourselves a
Oh
favor.
God, they're so good.
Very good.
So
Would you
good.
also make the nuts?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh, we
that
got
was my favorite.
so many of them. Yeah, yeah.
I think we bought one bag and then went back and bought like 5 bags, like whatever. That's like you have that many bags, I'll get all of those.
Yeah, and the shortbread cookies that were there. There's a couple
Yeah, they're good too.
makers. Yeah, we love to treat ourselves with show food because it's such a long day and you don't really get to have too much of a break. So we kind of like go crazy at the end of every night.
Yeah, like
Eating
then
all
we'll go get like a nice big meal from like Hogtown or something
Yeah.
and have like the cookies or whatever. So whatever we got that's sweet that's still left over that we didn't eat at the show, we'll have as dessert after we.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, super relatable. Okay, I got a couple more questions, then we're gonna play a fun little couples game.
Okay.
So Kendall mentioned it earlier, but Steve, you're in a couple bands.
Yeah.
What kind of bands?
So they're all like just rock and roll, like punk bands, rock bands, whatever you want to call it. I'm in a band called Fresh Hell, band called Dead Weights, just with a bunch of buddies, like play, like go crazy and play all over the place or anything. But just, well, obviously not right now. We haven't been jamming in a while, but like, jam every other week, stuff like that,
Can we find any of your stuff on the streaming services?
Yeah. Spotify has a couple of the bands that I'm in. So John Creedon and the Flying Hellfish and Dead Weights, I think, are on there. Other than that, Fresh Hell is just like a Bandcamp like stuff, and I'm in a band called Benevenstantiano, but it's so tough. I'm not going to spell it, so no one's going to find.
Simpsons reference, but the most obscure Simpsons reference.
Oh, I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Steve, what are some of your like essential like punk or like rock albums?
Oh boy, I guess like so the first like album that I
I
actually.
don't know if I could do this. No, keep going.
Oh, the first album that I actually ever.
Let me just dig through those.
Yeah. So the first album I ever actually owned, like, well, not even album, it was a tape, cassette tape, was Green Day's Dookie. So that always has like a very soft spot in my heart. Other than that, like Against Me is probably my favorite band. Dillinger 4 is a really, really good band. Radon, Hold Steady is amazing. Yeah, all those bands are really great. Anything that they do is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, say what you will about Green Day now, but that Dookie album, those harmonies, perfection.
Yeah,
perfection.
They were amazing.
I want to know, like, what's your non-punk guilty pleasure?
Oh, okay. Well, like, I mean, I guess.
What song does he sing in the car when the radio comes on? That sort of thing.
Oh boy, that Post Malone song.
Oh, we really liked that.
Seasons Change or whatever. That I really like that.
Yeah.
We always stopped on that song.
Yeah,
That's
like
really
I mean,
good.
even if like we would sometimes have it on shuffle when we're like driving to a show or driving to Florida or whatever, and like we would have heard it like 30 minutes ago on a different station, and it's like, I might as well stop again.
I thought he was a rapper, so that blew my mind. I was like, who is this? It's incredible.
He's blurring a lot of lines, and
I love it.
He has a lot of face tattoos, but
Yeah.
he's
But
pretty cool.
like the sweetest person in
Seems
the
like
world.
a very sweet young man.
Yeah.
Fair. Okay, let's play this game. I don't have a name for it. I'm taking sort of inspiration, let's say, from stuff that I've seen on social.
Okay.
So how it works, it's really simple. So you're going to have your eyes closed, both of you.
Okay.
And then I'm going to ask you a series of questions, and then you point to the person you think pertains to the answer.
I love this.
Yeah.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So you guys ready?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Eyes closed. Let's go. First question. Who controls the TV remote?
Oh.
Can I open my eyes now?
No, we have to keep them closed. That's tough.
I've already. Oh, I thought we were just pointing and. Then
Yeah, we are. Sorry.
Yeah, just pointing.
Oh, I gotta.
You gotta make a decision.
No, I already did.
Oh, okay. Ready? Open our eyes. Okay, we're right. I said me too. It's tough. Like with HGTV now, though, that's a little more Kendall's thing. But I mean, I've definitely fallen into like loving it. But that's something that you came up with.
Yeah.
I definitely.
We need to pull this down
before.
so I could see my hands. I don't know how to do that.
For sure. Appreciate that. Okay, we're gonna do rapid fire though. So
keep your eyes closed,
okay.
and then
keep your eyes closed the whole time. Who controls the car radio? Who sleeps in later? Who's the better singer? Who's more patient? Who's more organized? Who spends more time on their phone? Who's more spoiled? Who is more stubborn? Who cleans out the kitty litter more? Who is a bigger baby when they're sick?
Oh.
Who drives better?
I'm the only one.
Yeah, I never renewed my license when I came up here because it was too hard to. Yeah.
Who cooks better?
Oh.
Who cooks more?
Okay. Who's more competitive?
Oh.
All right. Who's more likely to be running late?
Oh yeah.
Who spends more money?
Oh. Can I do a jump ball, like a toss up?
We got a couple toss ups. Okay, two more. Who is more likely to apologize after a fight?
Oh. We both did.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay. And lastly, who said "I love you" first?
Oh, this is a huge fight between us. No.
Oh.
100%.
I opened my eyes. No. This will be art. This is a discussion of all discussions.
I remember it yesterday, except I can't remember the name of the restaurant.
Oh, I worked there.
Oh, it was Continental.
Shout out Continental in Philadelphia. I worked there the whole time I lived.
Well, you guys can have a little couples debrief after the show.
Yeah. It definitely.
Awesome. Okay, so couple more questions. These are the questions that I like to ask at the end. First off, for those watching, how can people continue to support Sadie and June during these times?
Our website's open. We're always taking orders. Sadie and June on Instagram, which you can see. SadieandJune.ca. Yeah,
either that or contact us on Instagram.
Yeah, email, Instagram, and our website. Whatever you want.
Awesome. And lastly, question I love to ask all my guests at the end. So in life, in art, and in your heart of hearts, Sadie and June, what is your signature?
I would say spread love. I feel like, do you ever watch Jesus and Arrow? They have the sign.
The bodega sign.
Yes, thank you. Your rainbow or your bodega sign? I would say spread love.
Yeah, definitely spread love. Either that or where's your heart? I guess if we want a second one.
If Steve has one, where's your heart?
But spread love first, and then where's your heart?
Love it. Well, Kendall and Steve, you guys were absolutely lovely as expected. Thank you so much.
And it's
time. Yeah. Stay cool in the heat wave.
Thank you.
Maybe jump in the pool later.
Yeah.
And yeah, we hope to see you again in the fall.
Yeah.
Hopefully. But
Fingers crossed.
thank you so much for doing this. You're amazing. Thanks
You guys
for
are much
supporting
love.
us. Appreciate it.
Thank you to everyone who watched, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.